It's the end of day one here at Croatia Rally. We are back in the shopping centre car park just outside Zagreb. Simon Hughes joining me again. It's been... What kind of a day has it been, Si?
I think, to tell you the truth, the sort of result sums it up. The top two are level. Most of the guys are still close to the position they started, other than Ogier, really, who this afternoon has shown a bit of class.
Oh,
you know, a bit of determination.
More than a bit.
Yeah. And like we sort of mentioned, you know, in the live we did this afternoon, is when there's been a risk, he's taken a chance. You know, the last stage where he's taken 10 seconds off everyone, Thierry and Elvin came through there complaining it was dusty, people were cutting more than they expected, and he came through.
It was cleaning though.
It was.
It's been a funny day. Let's say we should jump straight into Thierry. It has been a difficult day for him because, yeah, he had a good place on the road, but at no point today has he really felt comfortable, has he really felt ready to push and challenge.
No, and I think it's unfortunate for him to have that advantage this morning. And like we said, you know, he did well to get a gap, but I think he'll have been disappointed not to carry on the advantage he showed in stage one throughout the rest of the morning loop.
Let's listen to what Thierry had to say about his day.
I mean, we knew this morning we would have a good road position, so we had to benefit from it. We could have been faster, but like I say, didn't have enough confidence to go faster. And then this afternoon, obviously, puncture made us lose 10 seconds, and then the last stage was full of dust, so we were cleaning the road all the way through, and I was really struggling with the traction. But it was the maximum we could do, and at the end, it could have been a 10 seconds lead, but at the end it isn't.
Well, what exactly happened with the puncture?
I think it was a muddy cut, and I think with all the cars was some stone in the middle who came out, and I really hit it with the rim, and I punctured the rim.
Difficult day for Thierry. I think one of the other aspects of today is there was no service, remote tyre zone, out at the coast, quite a long way west of here. The drivers are compromised in what they can do. He clearly wasn't happy with the setup of the car first thing this morning. If you wanted to make a significant change, if you wanted to change transmission, put a different gearbox in, different diffs or whatever, he couldn't. He's got to do that tonight.
Yeah, it's been a difficult day for him, and I think at the end of the day now, he'll be slightly disappointed that he hasn't made the most of the advantage he had. Bear in mind, going into tomorrow, he is potentially starting at the back of the field, which, if the weather is what we expect it will be of a disadvantage. So he's almost not wasted it. His opportunity hasn't come through for him.
Yeah, it's not ideal. You know, we talked earlier about would you compromise your position on the road. There is potentially an awful lot of rain coming overnight and into tomorrow. That will make it very, very difficult to drive these stages if you're further back down the field. The first car on the road tomorrow will have a big advantage, and will really work on the cuts to pull as much out into the road as you can. It's going to be a lot worse than today. We talked about, do you compromise that position? Thierry, if he had been a tenth of a second slower, he would have been in one more position preferable to where he is. They're dead level.
Yeah.
Not a tenth of a second splits them, but we understand that Thierry goes last.
I believe so, due to the fact that Thierry led the rally on the first stage. For Elvin, it's a cracking day because he's lost no time to Thierry. He's has an advantage, only of one car, but still an advantage to be ahead of Thierry. So it's almost an opportunity wasted slightly for Thierry, and I think a good day for Elvin.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a good day for Elvin. It's not been a bad day for Elvin. And again, similar to Thierry, he's not really felt completely comfortable. He's not pushed perhaps as much as he would have wanted to do. We caught up with Elvin in the media zone. Let's hear what he had to say.
Of course, you always want to target the best. The lead is what we really wanted. We were a bit behind this morning, for sure. A bit, I think, through condition, a bit through maybe not quite doing exactly what I wanted in a few places. But this afternoon was a bit better until that last one. I said to Scott at the end, I don't think that was a good run. You watch and wait, Seb's you see what Seb's time will be through here, because I've seen that in that type of condition before.
It's going to be a big day tomorrow for Elvin. It's going to be a big day for everybody in the rain tomorrow. I think the man that everybody is now concerned about is Sébastien Ogier. What he did in the last two stages this afternoon was quite sensational. It was vintage Sébastien, wasn't it? You know, coming from more than 20 seconds down to close that gap to 6.6 seconds tonight. It's exceptional.
It is, and it puts him in a really strong position for tomorrow because he's within touching distance, 6 seconds. Realistically, anything under 10 seconds is great, given the road position he had. So he's within that, and he's 2 or 3 cars ahead of the other guys he's fighting with. So yeah, it does leave him in a strong position, and like we said before, it does show the experience, and this is why he's got to where he is.
Totally. I think one big thing that we're going to look forward to tomorrow is tyres. It's been a reasonable day for a tyre kind of strategy today. We've seen Ott Tanak this morning went out with 5 softs. Ogier had gone with 3 and 3. And the guy that you would really put your money on in these conditions is Sebastian Ogier. He's got so much experience of those changeable conditions, hasn't he?
He does, yeah. And, like we said, they went out with a harder tyre this morning, so they should, in theory, have the softer tyres in hand. We know Thierry lost a soft when he had the problem with his tyre when he clipped the rock. Sebastian is the master. And, if you look at Elvin, if you're going to copy anyone for tyre strategy on a day like this, Elvin's sat right next to the perfect guy to leave service.
Overall, I'm very satisfied with the whole day. Of course, if you look the times, it was not always very clear that I was pushing, but I really try hard the whole day. Even had, let's say, 2 good moments today, so I think it was needed to take risk, obviously, with the condition I had to try to stay in the match, and being 6 seconds away tonight is definitely very positive.
Elvin said when he came through that stage, he kind of knew that your time was going to be pretty spectacular. He said, looked at the conditions and just the grip level and the changing. Your experience in Monte Carlo, and it helps.
I don't know, in our days it's not so often that we manage to create this kind of gap, so it was again still a bit surprising. I have to say on the first pass in the morning it was surprising to lose so much already, and I was, not really, but I was hoping that the condition will stay more consistent. And when I see that already it was so much mud on the road on the first pass and we lose 14 seconds straight away, I say, oh, that's going to be a long day. Yeah. But at the end, to be able to turn it like this around and finish tonight only 6 seconds away from the lead is very positive.
Yeah, interesting stuff, as always, from Sebastian Ogier. Ott Tanak, 41 seconds off the front. Difficult day for Ott again.
It has. I think for Ott, it's really been a day of 2 halves. This morning he struggled with pretty much everything: the conditions, the car, the tyres. Then this afternoon we've heard him quite positive. He's got the car working. He's been enjoying. He said himself the last 2 or 3 stages are the first time all weekend he's been competitive. Unfortunately, it's come at a point where he's already dropped that much time, and it does make you wonder whether now maybe we'll see a strategy for Sunday. He'll possibly console his 4th place and try and save whatever he can.
You're
for
quite
Sunday.
big into this, aren't you? You're now thinking a lot. Maybe it's because you're a driver, but you are thinking more towards Sunday. I think you're quite right. The strategy is moving towards that now, and you've got to think about it. And yeah, so far it's been a little bit of a compromised event for Ott. But I think before you think to Sunday, or before you think to what you're going to achieve on Saturday night in terms of points, you've got to look at the weather tomorrow.
Of course.
If that weather does come in, if Tanak makes a big strategy call, takes the gamble on time, he could win all of those 41 seconds back in one go.
Yeah, he could. And I think it's, again, as we mentioned before, he's in a situation where he needs to try and make the best of a bad situation. And if an opportunity arises, obviously what he doesn't want to do is throw away a 4th place, because even though he's had problems, he's still able to hold the 4th place at potentially the end of Saturday. But yeah, he will definitely be open to a more racy strategy, I would have thought, if the weather comes.
It's been great to see Adrian Formo back in Croatia, back in a Ford Puma. This morning we saw him struggling again to get the best out of tyres, but final stage this evening, great, really good. If it wasn't for Sebastian Ogier, it'd have been quickest.
Exactly. I think he's probably frustrated this morning. He came here with a bit of pressure, and to be fair to him, he came here with some confidence. When we spoke to him, he was pretty confident he would be there or thereabouts. Yeah, exactly. It didn't happen for him this morning. You can see his frustration with the tyres, whether it was a tyre choice or just the car wasn't working with the tyres. But yeah, like you say, this afternoon, he has sort of got it together. Again, whether that was a situation where the road was cleaning and it gave him a little bit more confidence, but I think he'll probably be a little bit frustrated at the end of the day.
Yeah, Takamoto Katsuta. Still, it's Croatia. He has to be in 6th place. He's finished 6th. He's finished 6th here for the last 3 years, so obviously he's 6th tonight. I think he will be a little bit frustrated as well. He wants a bit more performance. some changes coming to the car for him, no doubt, overnight. And yeah, I'm sure we're going to see some more performance from him tomorrow. 7th, Andreas Mikkelsen, small overshoot for him. Otherwise, a pretty clean day back in the car. And the same for Gregoire Munster. Munster obviously coming off the back of some three difficult events, looking to build his confidence moving forward. Not a bad day.
He'll just be looking for a trouble-free run, and if he can get a clean run and build his pace, get the experience, that's a good result for him.
Nikolai Grierson leads WRC 2 at the end of the day, but I think the big talking point is that moment from Johan Rossell. Let's go to Johan and let's have him talk us through his thoughts over that jump.
I remember in my pass in 2 years ago on these stages. I think last year, and I brake just before the compression, and yes, it's easy, and I brake just after the compression, and I lose the front. Very, very hot moment. I am very lucky to be here, and I am happy. It's not bad to be second today.
Yeah, an incredible moment there from Johan. There are, again, it's a bit of a mix in WRC2. Some of the drivers are here taking experience, learning more about the car. Certainly that's the case for Sami Peari. Pepe Lopez, somebody that we saw in Monte Carlo go really well, struggled a wee bit. We expected maybe a bit more from him, down 2 minutes down on the lead. But I'm sure there's more potential for all of these boys tomorrow, isn't there?
There is, and like we say, we keep going back to the weather, and if it comes, it could turn the whole thing on its head.
Totally. It is going to be a fascinating day 2 of Croatia Rally. If that weather comes, if it doesn't come, if it turns it on its head, if it doesn't, stay tuned to dirtfish.com. Come and see us first thing tomorrow morning. We'll be doing our pre-stage interviews with all of the leading crews. We're also doing a lunchtime live for you to tune in. Send your questions in. Simon will answer them. He's a man of much knowledge. You're supposed to say, yeah, I am.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
He'll try his best.
That's all I can do.
That's all he can do. Out west again, not quite as far west tomorrow. Back in Zagreb for lunchtime service tomorrow, but you only need to be in one place. It's dirtfish.com for all the action.